So as I'm sure some of y'all have noticed, I have not uploaded content for Sparking Zero in quite some time, and I'm here to tell you guys my reasoning, and I want to know if it's valid criticism or if I'm just hating. I'm going to start with a broader issue, the balancing. Yes, so let's just start off simple. Currently, the meta picks haven't really shifted despite the multitude of fighters added to the game. Majority of people use either Beast Gohan, MUI Goku, or an Android setup. Even while the game's ranked servers are down, I'm running into this. I understand the desire to win, but first off, do y'all not get bored of using the same strat for months on end? It's been almost a year now, and I can guarantee that the most drastic playstyle switches en masse have been to Beast Gohan. Secondly, the comp community has managed to break this game down to a point of pure exploitation, which has turned online play into a complete mess. The broken. Alright, so as mentioned, I have not been playing Sparking Zero. These are impressions coming back to the game after months of not enjoying it. My very first game was against an Android team that made my life absolutely miserable. The second match I played as Glorio and had high hopes because I was facing a Trunks player. A few near infinites later, and I'm putting the controller down to take a break from this sweat fest. Third match I actually got footage of, and look how slow this man is moving. Look how bad his connection is. I set it to 5 or higher, but I get stuck with this. After pushing through and losing yet again, I decided to jump into single player modes like World Tournament because I was very excited to try the new fighters and realized with the current state of online, it was going to be next to impossible. This is where my first major complaint comes in. People complain about the game dying, but when you have an elitist community at the top of a casual experience, it never pans out. We saw it in plain daylight with multiverses, which partially was due to monetization problems, but it was also due to a lack of a proper entry point. A great example I use is my brother, who did try to get into the game. He ended up enjoying Steven, but got pummeled so bad in bronze by Smurfs, he put the game down permanently. That moment taught me that casuals are the backbone of every gaming community, as he is the type to spend extra money on games when he enjoys them. Just to give you an idea, he owns every single EXO in Warframe. Every single one. The reason I mention that specifically is because of what's happening here too with Sparking Zero. There is no real entry point for online play. You can go through the whole story, hop online, and then get absolutely curb stomped by an 11-year-old that's mastered the art of googling macros and snorting gamer subs. Speaking of broken things, and this one is PC specific, the macro abuse is actually insane. I've seen people go to the lengths of justifying it. These aren't bad controls, these are intentional skill gaps that people sidestep. This can be a problem in many fighting games on PC, but they need to have a reporting system. Otherwise, the casual community will start to die out sooner due to most casual gamers not caring enough to deal with things like that. And I believe that in part is what has contributed to the huge drop in player count on Steam. There's no skill gap like an artificial one. Mod support at best has been questionable, with the community running into problems like the game refusing to open, threatened bans over Gohan Black, and no official status as a part of the game, despite it being a large appeal to those on PC. It's interesting when you look at it parallel with companies like Rockstar and Bethesda. Now, I'm far from a gaming historian, but just the sheer amount of content you can find through mods is a massive draw and has led to the continued success of re-releases and remasters. Sparking Zero has the largest potential for a game in the anime fighter genre I've ever seen. The hype it had could have given them a foundation to build off of for many years to come. Instead, the hype died off, and they didn't release any outfits that people really wanted, and as mentioned before, threatened the very community that was helping to keep the game alive. The balance. The balance in this game was never meant to have any meaning, at least not until they added a ranked mode without DP brackets. It left the community out to dry on issues that needed to be ironed. A great and recently resolved one is the health bar dilemma. Personally, I don't think they handled it correctly. The aforementioned DP brackets were an already proven solution 20 years ago. Now, they've gutted those characters that had extra health as an anime accurate representation, and for what? Less than 5k players a day? And for what? less than 5k players a day, while the once excited, overjoyed, and dedicated gamers pick up other games. Now they've hit a point where returning to form will be extremely difficult. Games like Cyberpunk, Battlefront 2, and Battlefield 4 are the exceptions, not the rule. A lot of developers have been seeming to forget that recently. Predictably, Master Ultra Instinct Goku, Whis, Jiren, and Beerus dominated ranked play for a very long time, especially in singles, as the extra health, overall damage, insta-dodging, and near-instant or unblockable supers were too much to handle for fighters that had lower health or less effective skills. After a while of playing it longer though, I can admit it's in a much better place than it has been in the past. Matches feel much more even regardless of what character you pick, but the meta has become who is more willing to cheese the other player. Admittedly, I find myself laying down the back shots occasionally, but it's frustrating running into people who only attack when they see you bent over exposed.
I like you, and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours. The choice is yours.
And when they do, it's a practice skill. These aren't no amateur back shots, these are Johnny Sins on a Tuesday night. Supers from high DP characters, as you would expect, do insane amounts of damage, and it's even worse if you pick a low value fighter. That's the only part of the game that is unbalanced to points of unplayability in my eyes. There's always going to be issues with games like this because they typically look at balance as more of an overarching theme versus individual characters. Fighters like Yajirobe took so long to get balance because they were probably trying to see if it was a problem with all healing. This just leads me to believe the developers haven't played their own game on a meaningful level. If they want to resolve balance concerns, they need to send a team online to learn what's going on firsthand versus waiting to hear from surveys and X. I wonder how much they do care about the future of Sparking Zero. Mod support could have kept this game functional in the same way Budokai Tenkaichi 3 has retained its cult status through things like the BT4 project. Instead, they've done their best to drive that community away. It's a sad day when you can actively see a developer starving a game's community of meaningful updates. So where does this leave us? Sparking Zero is in a state of mid right now that is unrivaled. It fluctuates from either being the most fun you've had playing a video game to, well, this.
Who are you?
Might I suggest Fizzy Pop's Grape Blast? Cause I'm gonna grape you in the mouth!
I do still like the game and find enjoyment in it, as I said a very long time ago in a different video. I'm going to be playing this for a very long time. I just hope the developers will see the writing on the wall and open up full mod support on PC and consoles. I also hope they'll start putting more time to meaningfully balance the fighters, because this game still does have potential to be in the competitive scene despite the blunders. They just need to give it the same care that they gave Fighter Z. That may be asking a lot considering the nature of the game, but what isn't is transparency, and that's what they've been lacking terribly on. Bandai isn't exactly known for it, but they knew this game was going to be a big deal. They announced tournament support and dropped it, almost directly after launch. That would be like NetherRealm releasing a bad game after the success of the previous two entries on a competitive and casual level. Okay, bad example, but jokes aside, it's very disheartening to see. I hope that Bandai will take Sparking Zero more seriously, but we've seen their treatment to this point and the future is looking dim. Sparking Zero is a game that released with endless hype, but a lack of support mixed with a lack of content turned this game from the next Budokai Tenkaichi 3 to Ultimate Tenkaichi. That's a slight exaggeration, but I use it to make my point clear. Either they support this game or it's going to be forgotten like many other mid-Dragon Ball Z games. As a follow-up to Xenoverse 2, this is just sad. Did they exhaust their team of making content? Did they think a poorly made community battle system was going to keep it alive? These aren't questions I can answer, but we can all surely agree that while it may already be too late, something needs to change. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. It helps a ton, and I'm currently aiming for 200 subscribers. Thank you. Peace.